All right, so it is Utah yarn crawl time. We are coming back from camping, so I'm not wearing any knitting and I feel a little gross because I haven't showered. We are headed to Needlepoint joint in Ogden because it was on the way coming back, and we'll check it out. I've never been to this yarn fair before, so it should be really fun. There's some kind of special event going on. I don't really know, so we've had to walk. Guess we'll see what's happening today. One shop done for the yarn crawl, and actually apparently the Needlepoint joint in Ogden, Utah is one of the more popular stops, so they had already run out of the free bags and stickers they were giving away for their yarn crawl that opened at 10 a.m. and I was there at 11:30 a.m. so that's pretty crazy. So hopefully I can get a bag today. We were planning on stopping on our way down south at Bountiful at Seed Stitch, which I also feel like is a pretty popular shop, so I'm not getting my hopes up, but we shall see. It's really interesting. There's some people that are bulldozing through all the yarn shops for this crawl, and they're trying to hit them all in one day. So this one in Ogden is the northernmost one, I think, and then there's one in Park City, there's one in Bountiful, there's a few others in southern Salt Lake County, there's a couple close to me in Utah County, and then there's one way down south in Richfield, Utah, and I think that might be all of them. So we'll see. I'm definitely not hitting them all today. I'm thinking I'll do this one, we'll do the one in Bountiful, which I also have not had a chance to go to yet, so I'm really excited to see what it's like. And then I might hit up the one in Lehi after dropping off my husband back at home. Just go back up north, go to Lehi, because I've been meaning to go to Petit and Purls. But we'll see. Maybe I'll hit up the ones in Provo because those are pretty close to me and those are both open today too. I'm not sure, but I think I might hit up maybe one or two more after dropping off my family. That's kind of how the day's going. This shop was really cool. It was really well built, really well organized, and had lots of things labeled for like specific brands or yarn dyers that you'd be looking for, so you never had to wonder like what's in this cubby versus this cubby. So that was labeled well, which is good because a lot of places that do cubby storage for yarn don't label their cubbies very well. So that was nice. And what really blew me away, they had so many books, so many publications. It was really awesome to be able to look and see and just search through things. I'll show you later my little haul of what I grabbed. And so that was really cool. They also had a lot of weaving and spinning and needle felting. They had like two shops connected to each other, like they had purchased the shop next door and they had made like a hallway between the two. So in the second shop, it's not the front entrance, there was all that like other stuff that wasn't knitting and crochet related, which was super, super cool that they had so many other things available. So that was really neat to see. Okay, that was super cute. Seed Stitch store in Bountiful, Utah. It was pretty small, but it was so bright and airy. Literally loved everything I saw there. Like, it was really hard to not buy everything. I definitely will be back there again. And I got some fun things to share with you later. What did they give you at the store? They gave you a cookie. Was it yummy? All right, we have just hit up Petit and Purls. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right because I don't speak French, but I've got my little buddy here. Georgia's with me. She came with me, so we went home, dropped off her camping stuff, kind of pulled ourselves together a little bit. I wanted to get out of the house and come to another yarn store, so we came. Super cute. They were really nice. They gave Georgia a cookie, a butter cookie. They were just about to close up, so I think it was just like leftover that they had. Did they have a butter cookie for you? Yeah. That was so nice of them, huh? Yeah. Your water bottle. It is your water bottle. So that was really fun to go to. I've been there before once or twice, and I do really like their store. I like their selection. I like that they have the little tea shop in there too, so it's just a fun atmosphere. They've got the like ceramic teacups on the wall. I'll make sure to link. I did a vlog where I had gone to that store before, so I'll share that video link up above and down below of my first experience going to that store. It was great, just what I expected. I got myself a couple small things, so excited to share with you. That was really fun, exactly what I expected because I've been there before, and we'll see. I might try to hit up a Provo store or two. There's 2 yarn stores down the street from each other on Center Street in Provo, so I might try to hit some up, but I might just go home and have some dinner with my family. We shall see. What did you find? A little bunny? Yeah. Finished. Can you show them your new toy? Yeah, we got her a new toy. She's been so good joining me on the yarn crawl. And I love Harmony. It's in Provo. There's another yarn store here in Provo too, but they have very different feels and purposes to me. I love going to Harmony because of the vibes there. It's just very cool and artsy and eclectic. There's lots of yarn as well as fabrics and like sewing patterns and things and notions. There's also a lot of gifts, so if you're looking for something like a candle, cards for someone, small gifts, like it's just the perfect spot for something really cute and fun and unique. Lots of small businesses are funneled through Harmony, so I really love their store. What is it, sweetheart? What is it? Do you see a bug? Oh, a squish bug? Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, that happens sometimes to bugs, huh? I love Harmony. Glad I got to go today. And I think that's it for the first day of the yarn crawl for this Saturday. Monday, we'll be back at it, and I'll try to hit a couple more stores. So I will see you then. It is Monday morning. We are ready to go. I am going down to Richfield, Utah, which is an hour and 45 minutes away from my house. So it's like way out there. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to hit any other yarn stores today. It really just depends on what else I have to do this afternoon with like grocery shopping and stuff. But it is 9:30. I'm headed down right now. It opens at 11 and it's already getting really hot here in Utah in the summertime. Let's get going. I've got my audiobook. I'm listening to the next book in the Crazy Rich Asians series. I read the first one last month. Yeah, I should be finishing that book on this drive. I think on the drive back I will be. So we'll see what other audiobook I have going on. Sorry, my windows are very dirty. I want to go to the car wash today, but my daughter loves the car wash. So I'm waiting till I pick her up from daycare to go do that. So let's get going. We're here. I'm so glad I found it. It's called Leona's Bistro. Super, super cute. I'm having a millefeuille while I'm waiting for my crepe, margarita crepe, to come in. So getting a light lunch. I'm not sure. I might meet up with my husband for lunch on my way back home. If not, at least I'll have something good in me, and I'm going to savor this. So beautiful. I love it here. All right, so I am fed. My bag has yarn in it. I am ready to go home, and we'll see, I guess, what else I get to today. It is like a 2-hour drive home, and I do need to go to Costco and the grocery store. So we'll see, I guess, if I get to hit up another store. I might just go up to Provo because they only hit up Harmony on Saturday. I still need to go to Heindselman's, so I might do that. But other than that, I don't know if I can get to any other yarn stores today because it's been a long trip, but it's been a good one. So as you saw, I was able to go to Heindselman's after I picked up Georgia from daycare. We went through the car wash and then we went to the yarn store because it's not too far from us. So it was nice to check that one off the list. So that makes 2 yarn stores for today. I did get a couple fun things, even though I have been in the store before. So it was fun to find some things I didn't expect to find that were goodies. I'm exhausted. We're sitting down for dinner and it's a cereal night. So we'll be doing that, kind of winding down for the night. Then I'm working for a few days and I'll be back on the yarn crawl on Thursday. Hello, happy Thursday. It is a new day and I am ready to hit my last 3 stores for the Utah yarn crawl. I was thinking I would go up to Park City first and get that out of the way, but actually it seems like it should be better to just hit up the 2 stores that are in southern Salt Lake County. So I'm gonna go to Willow Hill Yarn Company and to Yarn on the Corner. I think I'll hit Yarn on the Corner first because that's the one that's further south. So I'll hit both of those, try to knock those out because they both open at 10. It is 9:30 now. So trying to drive up there, hit both of those, and then drive up to Park City and be in Park City around lunchtime, hit up Wasatch and Wool, and then I can head back down. I'll have a few beautiful drives up through a couple canyons to get to and from Park City, but we're gonna knock out the 2 other stores first, and then we should be done by this early afternoon and have hit all of our spots on the Utah Yarn Crawl. One yarn store down for the day. Yarn on the Corner actually looks like it's called Quilts on the Corner if you look from the outside. So I was a little confused. I thought I was maybe in the wrong spot. But what they do have is like a yarn store in the front, and in the back they've got a quilting section and a long arm machine, at least one that I saw. Like, it was really cool, super quilty too. So if you ever need some long arming done in central Utah, like Salt Lake County, Utah County, that might be a really great place to look at. It was in this cute old building and they had like a really interesting selection compared to the other yarn shops I've been to. So they had a lot of bigger brands that I have seen in my time, but I don't see very frequently at yarn stores, at least in the area. It was really nice to see some yarn brands that I recognize that I haven't really seen local, so that was really cool. So I know that if I need any like West Yorkshire spinners or Kelborn woolens or anything like that, that would be a really good place to get yarns like that from. And they also had some Metal and Tosh, which I also, a big name brand that I haven't seen very much locally. So that was really nice. They had a nice variety of selection and I got a couple things. They had an awesome notion section, at least for the notions that I was looking for. So I stocked up on those. And now let's go to Willow Hill Yarn Company. Okay, Willow Hill Yarn Company, super cute area. It's like a small boutique village shopping area. So there's like lots of cute little buildings with very interesting stores that just seem like a really fun shopping day. This is not too far from my house, though it is a little bit of a drive. But I can definitely see myself coming back here and spending a few hours just exploring this whole area, not just the yarn store. What I love most is their hand-dyed sock collection. Oh my gosh, it was so amazing. Almost all of the dyers they had were dyers that I've previously purchased yarn from. The color palettes were just amazing. They did have a good variety too, and I just couldn't pick. There were too many good skeins, and none of them needed to fly onto my needles right this moment, and so I held off. But I know that whenever I have the urge to buy some fresh new sock yarn, I will definitely come here first of all the stores that I've been to so far. So that is saying something. I really love their sock yarn collection. Now let's drive up to Park City. I did buy myself a cannoli. I went into a little deli bakery to see if there was anything that was good to take with me to take up to Park City, so maybe I can eat that as like a packed lunch instead of buying lunch in Park City, because I thought that might be more expensive. But nothing caught my eye except for the cannoli. So even though it's 11 a.m., I bought myself a cannoli. So I'll be snacking on that in the car probably before it gets too warm, and we'll be heading up the canyon to Park City. Only one stop to go and then we're done with this yarn crawl. What an amazing week it has been. Goodness, we are all done with the yarn crawl. I just went to Wasatch and Wool, and they're fairly new in this location. I think a year or a little less than a year. It is a little bit strange. It's in like a business park style of like studio, but inside they have an amazing selection. They have tons of hand-dyed yarns, especially hand-dyed sock yarns, and they also have a lot of European brands like Knitting for Olive. They have Isager coming. They have Sadness Garn right now. They have all sorts of things. They have also mentioned a specific French brand that has not imported to any other yarn store in the United States. So I can't remember what that brand is called. Fonte maybe? And they are coming soon to Wasatch and Wool, which is like really exciting. It was really cool. I talked to Margot, who's the owner, I think, and she was telling me that they're moving their store in general to be a destination yarn store. Here in Park City, tons of people come for the skiing, for the resorts, for the shopping, and they come from all over the country and all over the world. And so she wanted this yarn store to be able to reflect that kind of destination shopping, and that people could come here and find things that they can't really find elsewhere in the United States. She really wants it to be a unique spot, which is really cool. So that was awesome. Thank you, Margot, for showing me that. I love seeing your store, and I got a lot of fun goodies. So let's go back home, and we'll see. Maybe today or maybe another day I will show you my haul, because I made a point to buy something from every single yarn store. I will not be making other purchases for a while, but I really wanted to make sure to support these shops. And yeah, we're done with the yarn crawl. So let's go do our little wrap up, and I'll show you what I purchased. All right, here we have it. My modest haul from 9 different yarn stores. So like all in total, it's definitely not modest, but spread out between 9 different yarn stores. I had some restraint, and I really did want to support all of the local makers and local yarn stores by not just showing up and browsing, but purchasing a couple things. So let's get right into that. I'll show you what I got. All right, so we are now in my craft room, and I have all of my purchases laid out and things that I've been gifted as I have done this Utah yarn crawl. So we're gonna start from the very beginning, the very first day, and go from there, and I'll just show you what I bought. And if I have any other thoughts to say about the yarn store itself, why I would choose to go to a specific yarn store, like what makes this one stand out, things like that, then I'll let you know. Okay, the first store I went to was the Needlepoint joint in Ogden, and it is like in the downtown area. So it was near a lot of other really cute businesses and shops, and there was actually like a street market thing going on when we went, so it was a little bit chaotic, but it was a really cool shop. It had the feel of a very old but refinished type of store. So there was lots of beautiful like antique pieces inside, and lots of beautiful old shelving that had been restored. Like it just had a really cool older feel to it. It was also made of 2 shops next to each other, and you walked in the back hallway to get to the other shop. Maybe they had acquired the other storefront later on and then made it into one connecting thing, something like that. But they had tons of needlework things like embroidery and cross stitch. They also had some things for spinning and weaving and whatnot. So they had a large variety of types of items and fiber crafts that they cater to. Also, what I thought was cool, they had a huge selection of books and some magazines too, but especially books. They had so many books to choose from for educating yourself about different crafts. So that was really neat to see what large selection they had. Because of their large selection of books, I got the Colorwork Bible, which was on my Amazon list, but I was able to get it from a local shop, which I liked. This is by Jessie Ostermiller. So what's really cool about this book, there are patterns, of course, but there's lots of guidance in choosing yarns for colorwork, choosing colors for colorwork, different techniques to do colorwork, and even different types of color, because there's stranded colorwork. We hear Fair Isle, there's mosaic knitting as a type of colorwork. You know, there's different varieties of colorwork, and all that's in here. I have done quite a bit of colorwork patterns. I'm not an expert, and that's why I really want this book, so that I can learn more about colorwork. I feel like there's so much more that I need to learn to really enhance my colorwork technique. I just feel like I'm pretty good, but For a while now, I haven't really been progressing in color work, and I really want to get better. So that's what this book is for, hopefully. I also got some more sock needles, and they're not actually in here because I've already been using them, but they are Flexi Flips. I've gotten a set of Flexi Flips in the past, and I really liked them. So I wanted to try some other sizes. So I got the 2.0 size, a US 0. And so I wanted to grab that since I saw that there, and they're currently being used right now. And then I bought a little itty skein. This is from the One String. It's a mini skein. And I think if I remember correctly, this might be like a 90-10 rainbow lay in nylon base, or maybe a BFL in nylon base. It's not merino from what I remember, but it's not labeled, so I can't tell you for sure what the base is. It's a little hardier of a base than a merino, but it is definitely still very soft. They had a bunch of minis there. I picked this one because it just reminded me of wildflowers. So pretty. So that was the needlepoint joint. It is pretty far from me. I think if I wanted a specific book, that would be a reason I would go there. I don't have really any other reason to go up to Ogden, so I think it'll be a treat whenever I get to go to the needlepoint joint. What's funny about the needlepoint joint is that apparently a lot of people went on the yarn crawl first thing to that store. So I wonder if there's just lots of knitters and crocheters up in that northern part of Utah, and they just like funneled down through the yarn crawl, but they started at the Ogden store. So I wasn't able to get the free tote bag when I went. So I was really hoping that the next place I went had one, and they did. This is the tote bag that you could get on the yarn crawl. So this was really handy to carry through the rest of my yarn crawling to make sure that I didn't lose my slip of paper where I got stamps, and that I had somewhere to put my yarn without using any bags. The next store I went to after the needlepoint joint was Seed Stitch Store. It's kind of hard for me to say. Seed Stitch Store in Bountiful, Utah. And this was a really cute little store, just a one-room place, and it was again in like a cutesy little downtowny type area in Bountiful, not on the main stretch, but just off the main stretch. So it was pretty easy to find near the center of town. And this store was so cute, and the staff were so friendly and welcoming. I even got to meet a local dyer, and I can't remember her name, but she is behind the Backcountry Knitter. And so that was really fun because I have purchased that yarn in the past and loved it. And so it was really fun to meet her in person and to chat with her. I loved how this store was really curated. It had the types of yarns and the types of colors that really appeal to my taste. And so I could definitely see myself making sure I go back there because that yarn was a great fit for me and the kind of things that I like right now. Lots of sock yarns. They had quite a bit of fluff, lots of hand-dyed yarns. It just felt really me, which was really great. I really loved being there, and I got quite a bit there as a result. And Bountiful's a little bit closer to where I live, and I do have family living in Bountiful, so I can definitely make an excuse to head up there, visit some family, and stop by that yarn store. Oh, they also gave me this cute sticker, and I think this was part of the yarn crawl as well. So it's just an arch from Arches as yarn. Super cute. Okay, so I mentioned the Backcountry Knitter. I picked out these colors to make a sock set. They had some minis there, which was fun to look through. This is called Dragon Fruit, and this is called Watermelon Soiree. And this was their, I think this was their local yarn store day colorway for Seed Stitch Store. But it was so pretty. The blues and purplies and pinks all together. I thought that this would be a really fun mini to pair with it. This is also a specific colorway to the store. It's called At Seed Stitch 2023. And I'm not sure if this is a yarn crawl exclusive or a shop exclusive, but it was definitely a unique colorway. This is from Moss Fibers, which I have never seen before. And again, it's an 85-15 sock blend, which is interesting. That's becoming much more popular, at least in my local area, with the dyers that I am seeing in my local yarn shops. So super cute, nice and blendy, watercolory, so fun. And I'm a sucker for exclusive colorways. And then this one also happened to be an exclusive colorway. This is a local yarn store 2023 colorway from Yarnaceous Fibers. I got 2 of these skeins, because I wanted to make something that wasn't socks, but I wasn't sure what. But I think I might make the slightly sassy V-neck, but I'm sure, I can't quite remember. But there's a new top that just recently came out that I think I might make with this. And this colorway is called Jurassic Garden. It was super cute. I almost bought some Surrey or mohair or something to go with it because it was also beautiful on the fluffy base, but I couldn't think of what I wanted to make, so I just got 2 of these so I can make a light top or something. I'm really excited. Can you tell I'm in a pink mood? I'm in my pink era. So that was everything I got from Seed Stitch store. Later on that day, I went up to Lehi and I visited Petit and Purls, which is actually a tea shop and yarn store mixed together, which is fun thematically so that you can do some shopping, get some tea cakes and some tea to drink. They even have a closet in the back where you can dress up in some tea party-esque garb. So that's like really fun. I do have a vlog where I visited them before, so I'll make sure to link that up above and down below. But let me show you what I got while I was there. This store is spread out through multiple little rooms. It's just kind of, it's got a lot of character in the store, and they have these huge ceramic mugs on the wall that house yarn, which is just like super neat. I love the aesthetic. It's a really fun experience to shop there. I got these stitch markers. They look like little gummy bears. So cute. Oh my goodness. This is from Stitchin' Whimsy. I'd not heard of them before, but they are so cute. I got this faded set, and these are a little bigger than minis, but I couldn't help it. Let's see. This is the Smooth Sailing Shaded Gradient set from Marinated Yarns. These beautiful like mints and teals. It's an 80-10-10 superwash merino cashmere nylon blend. There are 800 yards, aka 200 grams within this. So that means there's like 30 to 35 grams per each colorway. So they're bigger than mini skeins, but not even a half skein. So I'm not counting these as adding to yarn stash because I only count full skeins. Beautiful, beautiful colors. I don't know what I'm gonna make, but I love these colors so much. I really had a hard time putting them down. I had to bring them home with me, even though I'm not quite sure what to make with it yet. Maybe a shawl with some kind of a fade, or I don't know what. But I love them. My last stop for this first day of the yarn crawl was to Harmony, which is one of my local yarn stores. It's in Provo, Utah, and it is down the street from another store, but I wasn't able to hit both of them on this day. We were getting close to closing time. I had to get home with my daughter for dinner, and so I just stopped in really quick to hit up another store, and it was really cool. They had a much larger selection of hand-dyed yarns than they usually do. I mean, they have a little selection. It's mostly a fabric and gift store, but they also have a yarn room, and it overflows a little bit out of the yarn room even. It's inside an old house, and so there's probably a half a dozen rooms, and it's got the cutest aesthetic. It just is a joy to be in there and to explore the really cool things that they have from other small businesses that they have collected and curated for their shop. And they do have a little bit of hand-dyed yarn, not very much, but for the yarn crawl they had a broader selection than they typically do, which is really cool to be able to explore that. And they had the setup on the front. They were really excited to be part of the yarn crawl, I could tell. And I got, this is Lovejoy yarns. This is the color Waffle Cone. So yummy. These warm colors, pinks and yellows and even a little brown. And I got 2 minis to go with it because I couldn't decide, and I thought it would be fun to play around with some colors. I don't know if they have names. Oh, they do. This one's called Poppy, and this one's called Bunny. Ta-da! These are all from Lovejoy, which is a local dyer in Salt Lake City. So super fun to kind of put that sock set together and to visit a store that I really love to go to and find some new things there too. So that was my first day. It was a hard-hitting day. I got 4 of the 9 stores. I was able to go a couple days later. On Monday, I hit up a few shops. Well, I worked 3 days this week, and so I'm trying to fit in the yarn crawl around those days, but it's worked out all right. On Monday, I was able to go to just 2 stores, but let's hop into Monday's shopping. I made the trip down to Richfield, Utah, which is on the way to Moab, and it is in the heart of central southern Utah. It's 2 hours away from my house. It's 2 hours away from any other yarn store on the crawl, so it was quite the drive. It took most of my Monday, which is why I only got to 2 stores. But I was able to go down there and experience it. It was in the cute little downtown Richfield area, and I went to this amazing bistro just down the street and got a little snack that was, it was so fun, so cute. But the yarn store, it's called Julia's Shop, and they have all sorts of things. They had lots of more commercial and budget-friendly yarns, lots of options like that. It was really cool to see that that's really one of the best options for yarn for the surrounding areas, honestly. There was a craft store just across the street. Their yarn selection was very, very minimum. And so I can definitely see how Julia's Shop is filling a role within their community. Super neat. They also had some hand-dyed yarns and some other brands that I had not heard of before, which is really cool to explore. They had a ton of small makers. They were also featured. They had a soap maker and they had a candle maker. They had some people that dyed fleece, and also someone had some sock blanks, which is kind of fun to see that I hadn't really seen in any of the other stores, which was cool. They also had some more like knick-knacky, tchotchke type things, and they had a used bookstore in the shop. It was really interesting. They had the whole back room as well as a couple other bookshelves within the main room of the store. So I made sure to browse through the used book area as well. So that was just really neat. It was a hodgepodge of things trying to fill the needs of the community. So that was really cool. I'll show you what I got. I saw this yarn brand. I'd never heard of them before, but it's called Wildfoot. This is a sock yarn, a 75-25. It's definitely more rustic feeling, similar to like a Patton's Croymite feel. And this color is called Acapella. But yes, I hadn't heard of this before, and it's a more budget-friendly yarn. I figured I would grab a 50-gram skein of it. It is like a pooling type of colorway, so we'll see on what gauge I like to knit this. I might make socks for my daughter, maybe knit socks for me, I'm not sure. But these feel like they would be really cozy and hard wearing. I also found 2 hand-dyed yarn companies that I hadn't seen before. This is Corn Creek Fiber, and this color, let's see, oh, it is a 75-25 superwash merino and nylon blend. This color is called Phalaenopsis. I don't know what that means, but this was just so sunny, speckles everywhere, and I thought that this would work out really fun. And then I got this PK yarn by Pamela Kirschman, and they use a 75-25 blend as well. And this color is called Rainbow Raven. I just couldn't resist all the colors. It was so fun, and I'm not sure what I'll make. Probably I'll make some fun socks. I bet my daughter would love rainbow socks out of this yarn. And then I found, this is Marshall Alpaca Company, and this is 75% Surrey and 25% Huacaya alpaca yarn, and it is so soft. Oh my goodness. I don't know the story behind this brand, but it seems like it's an alpaca farm and they have the yarn spun from a local alpaca farm. I'll have to do some more digging. I bought 2 skeins because I wanted to be able to make some kind of probably neckerchief, maybe a hat, something that'll touch me directly so I can enjoy how soft it is. And can you see that fuzz? It's definitely got the Surrey. You can see that in there. But I just thought it would be really fun to have a more natural fiber. I'll definitely have to look up this company and learn more about them and their farm. There was other local fiber there too, which was really cool to see. And I bought a sticker. I showed it in the vlog portion, but it says Distinguished Knitter of Socks. They had like magnets and all sorts of things. And I picked a sticker. I'll probably put it in my planner, but super, super cute. I also got, as like a free gift for doing the yarn crawl, first of all, it was 10% off. What a great deal of everything. Did not matter what I bought. So that was really nice that they did that for the crawl. They also gave me this little bag, but first yarn, I haven't looked inside it actually, but there's definitely things there. Oh, Utah Yarn Crawl sticker. and a pair of little snip scissors, which will definitely come in handy. So that's everything I got from Julia's shop. And it took me most of the day to visit that shop down in Richfield. And so the only other shop I was able to squeeze in, I visited Heindselman's in Provo. So this is the other yarn shop that is just down the street from Harmony in Provo. And I've been to this shop before as well. It definitely has like an older crowd type of vibe. It's not quite so eclectic. It is very much a traditional yarn store. It is the oldest yarn store in the United States, which is really neat. They have some local dyers, but they also have a lot of other common brands you might have heard of. They feature a lot of local makers with all sorts of things. So it very much feels like a grandma's attic type of a place. Lots of really cool, interesting treasures that you wouldn't see anywhere else. What's really funny is I got lots of flexi flips on this yarn crawl because I was just in the mood to cast on with them. I bought the 2.75 size because I was thinking that I could make DK weight socks with these, and I guess I'm just filling out my stash of flexi flips because they are pretty fun to work with. I do like Chow needles, but these are really fun. I tried them out not too long ago, and I just keep seeing them and keep deciding I'll get another size that I think I'll use. I also got this book called Knitting Ephemera. I've never heard of it before, but it says a compendium of articles, useful and otherwise, for the edification and amusement of the hand knitter. And this book is like 7 or 8 years old, but there's all sorts of knitting facts and tips and trivia type of things. And Heindselman's is actually in this book, which is why they had it on display and what intrigued me about it. And I thought this would be really fun to look through. Yes, the oldest continuously operating yarn shop in the United States is Heindselman's, located in Provo, Utah. The shop first began doing business in 1904 in a corner of a drugstore, and then Doc's wife later began stocking yarn and embroidery supplies. Today, the grandson of the founders owns and operates a shop, which also features gift items as well as supplies for other crafts, such as needlepoint and embroidery. So that was really fun that they're featured in that book. They had this book on display, and there's all sorts of really interesting facts and tidbits of information. I think that this would be really fun to go through. So I thought this would just be a little fun thing. I'd never seen it before. And I bought one skein of yarn from Heindselman's. This is a new base for them, Raven Frog Fibers. And I purchased yarn from them before, but this new base, this is Luxe Fingering. It's a 60% superwash merino, 20% yak, and 20% silk. It's a very unique base from what I've worked on in the past. And this is a finger weight yarn, and this teal color was just so beautiful. Let's see if it has a color listed. I don't see a color. Well, it's really beautiful. I was thinking maybe I'd make a cowl with it. Maybe I'd make a hat. Not quite sure, but I thought I would try the base. I thought that would be fun. They ended up giving me a free little soap. That was what I got to on Monday. And then today is Thursday, and I got to hit the last 3 shops on the Utah Yarn Crawl. So let's show you what I grabbed. The first shop I hit up today is called Yarn on the Corner or Quilt on the Corner. I'm not quite sure because the receipt says Quilts on the Corner and the outside of the building says Quilts on the Corner, but I've been told Yarn on the Corner, so I'm not sure if they're the same business or 2 different businesses in the same building. I'm not quite sure, but I thought this shop was really cool because they had a huge back room full of quilting things, different supplies, fabric, thread, everything you could imagine. They also had a huge long arm machine, so they do long arm quilting. Long arm process, from what I understand, is doing the final quilting on top, which is often in some really cool shapes and symbols of like winding around thread. I think that might be the time when you attach like the backing and the top of it, as well as the inner like cushion. You attach that all together through this really cool pattern. So that was really cool to see that, though I don't really understand the process entirely. So if anyone wants to elaborate, let me know down below because I'd love to learn more about that. I thought it was so fascinating to see. But they did have yarn there too, quite a lot. So it was like half a yarn store and half a quilting store. And I found some Sweet Georgia yarn, which I'd heard of, but I've never seen out in the open before. So I'm really glad I could purchase this. This colorway is called Rose Day. And what really sold me on it is they had a sock sample in this colorway and a couple others, and I was like, now I know how this works up, I want it. So I got this skein. There's even some yellow back there, which is so fun. I got a lot of notions as well. More flexi flips, though this time I am working on Stephen West's Contrast Blast Mystery Knit Along, and I decided I wanted to use my other flexi flips to make this sock, and I also decided that I want to work 2 socks in tandem. So I grabbed another set of the size 1 needles that I plan to use for Stephen West's sock pattern. So now I have 2 sets. I also got another cord for my Chaogu mini needles. I feel like I go through these cords quite a bit because they're so thin that I tend to kink them after use, and I knit a lot of socks. I do a lot with these cords. So I wanted to grab another cord since I know I will need it soon. I also got this set of DPNs. Is Knitter's Pride Carbons, and it looks like it's maybe a carbon fiber. I don't know, it looked very different than other DPNs I've tried, and so I thought it would be worth a try grabbing them. I can do a little review on them maybe, and I can maybe see what kind of features these DPNs have, kind of see what would make them a good fit for somebody, etc. So I figured I would grab those. It was a super cute shop. I really was glad to visit it. And then not too far away was Willow Hill Yarn Company, which was inside this Gardner Village area. I think it's in West Jordan. So it's like southern Salt Lake County, just like Sandy is where Yarn on the Corner is. But I don't know, it's like a boutique shopping, walking mall type of area. And so it was really interesting, had lots of interesting shops. I would love to poke around there more. I can definitely see myself going to visit Willow Hill Yarn Store just because the whole environment would make it a really fun experience. Go get something to eat, maybe find some ice cream, or like have something at the deli to eat. There was like a cute kids book and toy store. There's some like shopping clothes boutiques, all sorts of things. So definitely a really cool place to kind of poke around. But I tried to refrain because I didn't have a lot of time. I just went to Willow Hill, and I also went to the deli, and I grabbed a cannoli, and it was all right. It was a hard snack to eat in the car on the drive through the canyon. So do not recommend that, but it was a good cannoli. Let me show you what I got at Willow Hill. This is really interesting. So I loved their sock yarn selection. They had tons of dyers that I recognize, some that I purchased from, and others that I had not yet purchased from. And they had a lot of colors that really were calling to me, but I just couldn't decide. There were too many things that I really, really liked. And so I only bought this cute little mini that's called Desert Bloom from Speckled Finch Studios, which I think is in California. I've purchased yarn from a California yarn shop from Speckled Finch Studios. Could be wrong though. Yep, they're from Northern California. So that was just a super cute color. I was thinking I might get some other minis to kind of fade with it, but I just wasn't feeling it. I really love this one, and I couldn't find any others that I really wanted to pair with it. So I just got one cute mini. We'll see when it gets used in something. Who knows? And then I also saw these right as I was checking out. This is Winemaker's Sister, some stitch markers. They are actually some origami cranes. So there's like 2 that are like 3D gold ones, and there's 2 that are like flat line art ones, and there's 2 that are actually made of paper. So that was like really fun. I've never seen anything like that before. Some super fun stitch markers, a really fun set to get. All right, my last stop was in Park City, Utah, and this was a really, really cool store that definitely has a very different mission compared to all the other stores on the yarn crawl. Wasatch and Wool knows that they are a destination yarn store, being in a destination city that people visit all year long for various reasons, whether they're going skiing or whether they're going shopping, going to a summer vacation resort, anything like that. And so they want their selection to highlight that. They had a lot of local yarns and dyers, and also some hand-dyed yarns from companies I hadn't heard of before. There was one that I actually purchased from that is based in Dublin, which is really cool. And so it's really cool to explore their hand-dyed yarn, but they also had a lot of yarn that's from international companies that we don't see as often here in the US. And they really wanted to make sure that their yarn selection was something special that people on a destination vacation would want to buy. So I thought that was really cool, and they definitely want to move their stock more in the direction of European yarn brands that we don't see very often in the US. So that was really neat to see, and they had a lot of yarn in all sorts of weights and fibers, which is really cool. Lots of more natural, non-superwash yarns, as well as the superwash hand-dyed yarns that we see as well, and some more budget-friendly yarns too, but they had a lot of luxury yarns to choose from. We saw Knitting for Olive, they had Sadness Garn, they had Fonty, I think is what it's called, a French milled yarn that has not imported anywhere else in the US. And so that yarn is coming soon, which is really exciting for Wasatch and Wool. And it was really cool. Margot, the owner, was telling me all about the yarns that they have coming and their plans for the shops. It was really cool to hear more about their vision, as they are pretty recent in the space they are in now, and they're looking forward to the future. So let me show you what I got. This one stole my heart first. This is Woolfolk. The base is called Tined, and it is so soft. The yarn, it looks like it's a 21 micron yarn, so it's very, very soft. Not as lofty as some of Woolfolk's other yarns, but a pretty lofty yarn, very soft, very squishy. I knew I wanted it to be touching me very directly, and so maybe I'll make like a lightweight top out of it. I got 2 skeins, or maybe I'll make like a scarf or shawlette, something out of it, but super cozy. They had so many beautiful colors. I just felt like all the colors that I was drawn to didn't look really good on my skin tone, and so I picked the white one, which I think is still really, really a nice color. They have a whole room of older stock from the previous version of this store in 2021, I think. It was not too far away, but they moved into this location in 2022, and since then some of those yarns from the previous store are not super relevant anymore. Maybe they're discontinued, or they're not the direction that this yarn store wants to go in, so they were 30% off. And in this back section, it was huge. It was a huge clearance section. I saw this veil from Brooklyn Tweed. It is Rambouillet wool, and it is a lace weight yarn. It's this beautiful mauve color. It just looked so pretty, and it was one by itself in this color, and I was like, I'm just gonna snag it. Maybe I'll find some kind of fluffy mohair sari to hold with it, or maybe I'll find some really cool lace work type pattern. I'm not sure. Brooklyn Tweed is very light, very lofty type of a base. I also got 2 skeins of some hand-dyed yarn. This one is from, sorry, it like fell apart in my bag. This is from Alexandra, The Art of Yarn, a brand I hadn't heard of before. And this is a local yarn store day colorway from a few years ago, actually. But it's called Silverton. It's a 75% superwash merino, 15% nylon, 10% tencel, which is very interesting. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how it works up and wears. I'm not sure if that would be still a good stock yarn, or if there are other properties from the tencel that I should consider in picking my project, but it's so pretty. The blues and purples and speckles. I need to re-hank up this skein so that it looks pretty again, because it's all falling apart. I also found, this is the yarn from a Dublin company. This is Townhouse Yarns, and I was like, I am so intrigued by this building. They are housed in this building. It's this really cool historic building, and they're like on the first floor of it. That is so cool. Hand dyed in Ireland. This is so pretty. This color is called Molecular. Nice and warm, beigey. There's some pinks and oranges in there too, but also fairly subtle. I love it, and I love hearing the history and stories behind brands like this. That's why I purchase yarns from a variety of small businesses, because I love supporting them and hearing their stories and being able to help them in their journey and their story. I think that is so cool that I have a part in supporting them and showing them that I love the work that they do. I want to go there. That would be so cool. They had a bunch of little extra goodies that they were giving out for the yarn crawl. They had little mini bobbins of plied yarn, which is a new yarn, and you can see it's got like a barber pole type of thing going on. And this color is called City Link, I think. They had the bobbins laid out and I could pick one, so I picked this one. And you can actually buy the bobbins in a pack of like 40 different colors, so you can really decide like to do a cowl, like a faded, anything really with that many little bobbins. They also gave me this little wash ukulele jasmine. Yummy. I think this would be kind of like a one wash type of package, so maybe I'll have to wash like a sweater or something in it. And then this is like a little needle stopper. I've never seen anything like this, but basically you put one needle on this side of the curve and one needle on this side of the curve, and it helps hold your stitches on your needles, and it was very interesting. And Margot said she loved it and she was giving it away. So I'm like, okay, cool, I'll try it out. That'll be fun to see. So for the yarn crawl, if you visit all 9 shops, you can drop off your little card with all your stamps at one of the stores participating and be entered to win their grand prize. And when I dropped it off, it is Thursday. It goes through Saturday, so definitely there could still be more entries, but I was only one of 2 entries at the Park City store. So it's not unlikely that I could win that little prize package that they have, so we shall see. I'll have to let you know if I am so lucky. I've not been so lucky to win anything in the recent past, so I don't know. Maybe my luck will turn around. But that is everything that I purchased. I don't typically go to 9 yarn stores in a week, so this was like kind of a big commitment to do, especially considering the distances that I had to travel for some of these yarn stores. I should count how many miles I drove in my car. I'll put it right here to let you know how far I had to travel between all the yarn stores. It's crazy. Like, I put a lot of miles for my car, but it was such a fun experience to go explore these yarn stores and find some new favorites of mine that I definitely hope to go see again. Each yarn store definitely had a different feel and mission in what they were doing in providing yarn for the community, and so there's value in each one of those shops. I definitely encourage you to shop local and try to find your local yarn stores. Even if they're a little bit farther of a drive, they're definitely worth checking out and going to and supporting and making the time to do that. I know that local yarn stores are not always as accessible financially or physically distance-wise compared to more big box craft stores like a Michael's or Joann's or something, but they're definitely worth the effort to try to make a point and visit, even if it's not as frequently. So now that I have made this haul, I don't think I should be shopping for yarn anytime soon. I am really itching to get into this yarn, to cake some things up and start some fun projects. So if you want to see what things I decide to make sure to head over to my Instagram at Crochet Creations, and also make sure to subscribe to my channel and you can follow along and see what other projects and things I'll be working on in the near future. Until next time, happy making. Bye!